Hey, good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining us today on Hot Off the Press. Absolutely appreciate it. I am Randy, the news guy, here again. Shave the beard. It's been a little bit since I've been on, but it's yeah, all nice and shaved. I got a couple of great guests on the show today. I'm just waiting for one more to jump on into the green room, and then we'll pull them into it. In the meantime, if you would please, hey, like, subscribe, uh, follow, all of those kinds of things, depending upon what your platform is that you're listening to or watching. Absolutely would appreciate it. We put a lot of great stuff out. Well, I think it's pretty good anyway, every week, not only on the live stream show that we're doing today, but every Thursday we also drop a new video, and we're talking about press releases and link building and SEO and all that kind of fun stuff. So, subscribe to the channel. You get notified anytime we've got a new video popping in. Is good. All right, and let's see. There we go. And also, um, if you'd like to leave a message chat, go ahead and do that in the message, and we will get all of those popped in as well. And of course, lovely Pamela, thank you so much. Pamela should probably get like an award or something. I don't know, as like the best attendance participant, something like that. I don't even know what to call it, but so anyway, I appreciate it very much, Pamela. And again, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll get rolling with that. Today, I've got the dynamic duo from all the way from Arizona. They've been on the show a number of times, but such great people and such incredible wisdom and insight in the digital marketing space and in all things. Super pleased and excited to have back on the show and share with us. I'm going to introduce them differently. First, Elisabeth Samuels, because it seems like Terry always gets the front bill. So I'm like, hey, Elisabeth Samuels, who is the
I'm
real.
okay with Terry getting the glory and
You're
credit.
okay with that? All right. Well,
I don't care.
yeah, that's okay. And then, of course, her dynamic husband, Terry Samuels, who I don't know where the heck his camera is. Every time we get Terry on the show, he's always got some kind of technical difficulty. So
Yeah, and it only happens with Wave.
I
So
don't
it's
know
the
why.
only freaking I'm on podcasts all the time, and as soon as I saw it was Wave, I was like, "Oh crap!" And when Wave doesn't work
I, I have
in
no idea why,
Firefox,
brother.
You want to
At
know the
least we,
craziest thing is we have the exact same camera. I bought two at the same time.
yeah,
at least we have audio with you, because I know in other times we've had you come on and sometimes we have a picture and no audio. So,
I'm gonna keep playing with it, so hopefully it'll pop up.
all right, all right.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Well, I'm so excited. So, Terry and Elisabeth from Salterra Web Design,
Woo-hoo.
and these guys are great. So much good stuff. I refer potential clients to them all the time, and just a couple of people I absolutely trust and recommend. So you can go over to salterrasite.com. I'll throw it in the chat. And if you have anything you'd want to reach out for Terry and Elisabeth, you can drop it in right there. And hey, all right, Joe is on the scene. All right, Joe, man, good to see you, brother. Hey, before we get too deep into some stuff, I really did. Something occurred last week, last Friday, that really hit our SEO community and digital marketing community. And I just wanted to recognize that, and both, kind of pay some tribute, and as well, just kind of talk about it. It's been heavy on my heart, and I know on Terry and Elisabeth as well, over the past several days. But good friend, good friend of the show, good friend in the SAO community. Just a really just a wonderful guy, just so smart and great wit. But we lost James Slattery last Friday, and James, I don't know all of the circumstances, and but James took his life, and James was just really was a wonderful guy. I had the opportunity to meet James at several different conferences. We spoke together at Legit Live last September. I know the Samuels were there as well, and it's just heartbreaking. I'm just crushed, to have heard that news and all things and things that were going on. So I know, Elizabeth, Terry, you guys were close with him as well.
Yeah, we were. And one of the things I want to kind of like bring up, like nobody ever knows what anyone else is going through. And I get that. And
Right,
everybody is always like, hey, reach out, reach out.
right.
But it doesn't work that way. Like, people that are hurting or struggling don't always reach out. So I think if we could normalize telling people how great
Yep.
they are when they're here and not waiting until they're gone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to gush over the people that I think are pretty awesome. Um, I hope. I hope I don't leave things unsaid. It's just such a difficult thing to wrap your head around.
Yeah. I think as well, and I think Elizabeth, you mentioned we never know, what is going on and what struggles people may be having, and I did want to as well, just flash up, there is help if people are struggling. If anybody is listening now or later, if you're struggling, you don't feel like you have a place to turn, at reach out. 988 is a national suicide prevention and counselor line. There's help there for you. Reach out. And if you feel like you've got no other place, definitely just go. And people care and you count. I remember some training that I've had over the years, and that is the message to get across, that we care and that you count, and that is so critical. But I wanted to get that number out there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry, I know if you wanted to say anything as well, but
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, he was supposed to speak at spring training, and we got a call from him about 3 months ago that he just wasn't able to come. He didn't feel like, between his mom and him having health issues, and but there was no, obviously sign of anything,
right,
and I don't know, it's just one of those things that, suicide's just one of those things. It's just, I don't know. I don't have a very good understanding of it. And I'm not saying I've never been there before, but I, it's just, yeah, it just hits you differently. It hits you hard,
yeah,
and because you feel bad. You feel bad. What could I have done? Could I have done anything? All this stuff that we go through, and the bottom line, like Elizabeth said, there probably wasn't anything we could have done, but but if we would have known, we sure would have, done anything in our power to try.
right,
So, but we are gonna do some stuff at spring training for him,
good,
just to continue his legacy.
yeah,
We have his presentation from Myrtle Beach, so we're actually going to put him on stage again.
good. That
Um,
was a great presentation as well.
it was awesome, and then
Yeah,
Garen Green's gonna introduce him and do some stuff, and then on the VIP day, Garen Green actually has his presentation from Rock Stars last November that he had to cancel.
Um,
So nobody's seen this before. So Garen, I guess, helped him build this presentation out. So I guess Garen is going to show us that at the
uh,
VIP event.
oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Um,
And then,
and
of course, we want to give back to his family too. So we have a coupon code Slattery25. So every ticket sold with that coupon code, we're going to give $400 to the family.
nice.
And it's like I said, it's shocking. But and there's only been, I think, gosh, I don't know, I've been in this business now 11 years, and there's only been 2 people that have passed that I know of in our industry, and this one hit hard. So, but
Well, yeah, this hits hard because I just know from experience when you're somebody who is struggling, and this is the route they choose. You just know there's deep pain, the struggle that are going through, and it hits hard for those who survive because you feel like you would have done anything had you known, and
mhm,
and I think Elizabeth, your words like communicate, talk with people, connect with them, because you don't know. And sometimes just those conversations can open the door. And that is what's so necessary. One of the things I thought, as a way to honor James as well. I love this image you guys put up. I think I just saw this morning. Terry, you guys created this. That's such a great look for James. But one of the things I wanted to do as well, James was on the show just a couple of months ago, actually. And one of the things that I loved about James, and something I had never seen from an SEO guy before, and I thought this was great, and I thought I would share it as a means as well. But I'm just going to play this real quick. It's pretty short. But James had his own jingle. I don't know if you knew that he had. James has got a great YouTube channel, so if you want to go check it out, it's up. But I love this.
25 years in the game, for always seeking high acclaim. From dawn to dusk, he weaves his spell, making sure the stories sell. He's the wizard of the web tonight, writing up the legal side, turning clients into kings. James makes those phones ring.
Hey, SEO
That's
friend.
awesome.
Yeah, James was great. I just love that. It just gives you a sample of how creative that James was, and he will be missed. And so, James, brother, cheers to you,
yeah.
and you will be missed. All right, so on with.
The
On with
news.
our show, on with the news. So how have the 2 of you been otherwise?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yep. Doing great.
Yeah, good. I know we had just a great, opportunity to spend was that last week or the week before? Even I don't know.
Last week.
Was it
It was,
last week? What is today? Yeah? Oh, it was last week. No, it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, not
oh,
last
well,
week.
we stayed till Tuesday.
Oh, you
We stayed
stayed till Tuesday.
extra.
Well, you guys
Yeah.
are awesome. Yeah, so there is an unbelievable group called Rank Masters that's headed by a trio of guys, Patrick Shannon, Chris Moore, Jeff Howell. And it is not your typical SEO conference. This really is a mastermind or a gathering of digital marketers. And really, there is some SEO learning, but it really is about how do you grow your agency? How do you run your business? How do you scale? Addressing the challenges of running an agency and such. And I know Terry and Elizabeth. I'm going to speak for you guys just for a second, but you guys had gone to it, I think, a couple of times, and I know Terry. It's like Randy, this thing was great. This really set us up and just raved about it all of last year. And like, you got to go to this thing. And so when the opportunity came up to go here early spring here this year, I'm like, I'm going to do this because there's some things that I need to address. And it was such a great group of people. It was wonderful. So Terry and Elizabeth we were there. We were hanging out. I haven't got to spend the week with them in Orlando, which was fun. So, yeah, I loved it.
Hey, what have you implemented?
Oh, dude, I came across, and I shared this on like in the group and the Rank Master. I came across like on my, Terry and I use digital notebooks. I use Supernote. I came across, I had 30 pages of notes, right? And then I go through and I pull all of my action items that I need to do. And I've got like, I don't know, just on my action items alone, I've got like 6 pages in that. So yeah, there's so much stuff. I've got some deadlines, like timelines that I'm going to do. There's some things that I did like immediately, like already put staff on it when I was there even that week. So I've implemented a few things off of the list. Some of the stuff I'm like building out right now. So, but yeah. Super excited, but
So now you know why we were gushing and fangirling over the Rank Masters group the last time.
Yes. So Rank Masters was smoking, and it's good. So I joined the group, and I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah. It was good. Terry, man, you jumped up. You talked about backlinks and building links and the strategies around links, and
and it was pretty wild. I mean, I haven't talked about that in BC before COVID. So and it was interesting because we've been building links forever also, but it definitely has changed. I mean, there's no doubt about whether it's link building, content. I'm sorry, AI has changed the game, and and that's what people need to pay attention to. So, and I it was interesting when Patrick asked me, what I wanted to speak about, and he goes, "What do you do link building?" And I was like, "I do." I actually used to sell links. I used to sell a lot of links, but I got away from it, during COVID and that kind of thing. But no, it was fun. It was fun even putting it together. That was cool. So
yeah.
Well, you still link, you just don't talk about it.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I would never talk negative about backlinks at all because I do think they're important. But my big thing,
I hope you don't. Yeah,
no, not at all. But I do believe, especially in local, that once you build your foundational links, which are your press releases and your brands and all the stuff for your homepage type stuff, that now you play the link game when you need it, not just throw links. If you got a little plumbing company in Montana, you probably don't need a whole bunch of links. So and it was interesting as I was putting this together. I got an audit to do for a website, and in my form that you fill out for the audit is like, what link building tactics are you using? And gosh, this guy had named every single one in the book. PBNs, link jacking. I mean, just all this stuff.
Wow.
And it was for this plumbing company in northern Colorado. And I'm like, what maybe Phoenix, maybe LA, maybe Chicago. I mean, it's just like, and he's like, I spend $650 a month, half of his budget on links every month. And I'm like, you can be putting that money to use elsewhere, even running Bing ads for your client or whatever. But
that brings up a good point, because so many people are watching videos online and they don't always know what is applicable in an area. So you're mentioning some of the big, large cities. That's a valid strategy. But if you're in a tiny little town, you don't have the level of competition driving you. Like you need to learn like what is applicable for where you're at and what your goals are. So it's hard to get lost in the YouTube education system.
I know, right? And then I always love, Ted Kabitis did a presentation, I don't know, a year or 2 years ago, but he threw out a term, minimal
Yeah.
viable SEO.
Yeah, he did that
And
at spring training. That was
yes, and
yeah.
it is absolutely spot on. I mean, so when you talk about you are where you are in your market, if you're ranking, say if you're a local SEO and you're ranking in the map pack in the top three, you've you're that's where you want to be, right? And
Mhm.
so you could like continue to monitor. You could probably pull back on your link building, but you continue to do other SEO activities to keep it fresh, to keep you there. But yeah, you've like, all right, I've made the spot. Now I'm just keeping it here, and you can pull back on the backlink building strategies to a certain degree with that. And
Yeah.
but yeah, the minimal viable SEO. Is what I tell folks as well, even in regards to press release. I think you got to hit it kind of hard to start building up the brand, get it out there. But then at a certain point, as you monitor and you see the results, then you can begin to like, okay, instead of maybe doing two a month for a few months, you can like go, okay, now I'm maybe do it one a month now, or maybe one every other month or every 6 weeks. Once you're kind of see the results that you want, you can kind of pull off the gas, so to speak.
Mhm. For sure.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest frustrating thing for me is not just obviously the cost of backlinks have just skyrocketed.
Hmm.
The power's
Hmm.
not any better, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
amount of time it takes to even see credit for that.
Yep.
I mean, we used to see credit, a week, maybe 2
Yeah.
weeks. Now you're talking 5 to 6 if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. It could take a couple of months sometimes.
Yeah, and it's just it gets kind of frustrating, especially if that's part of your strategy for a time frame rank.
Right.
I can rank you in X in 3 months, which don't ever tell people that. You can't rank X in 3 months. But
Yeah.
the idea is that, you just wanna make sure that what you're spending the money on
Right.
and how you're doing it is the way to go.
Right, right.
And,
Well,
and
most
it's
effective, most efficient, right?
yeah, for sure.
We're always because the dollars are in the efficiency. So
Mhm.
here's something. So Joe brings up something I know is a passion of yours, Terry.
Oh, yeah.
Internal linking. So he's right. So Steve Toth, folks, if you are not subscribed to SEO Notebook with Steve Toth, you should do that because it is a piece of gold coming into your inbox every week. Today's note comes out every Tuesday. I'm always looking at that like right before I jump onto the show here because it hits like at about 9:30 or something like that every Tuesday morning for me anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so he had a great piece today about internal linking, gave some great guidelines on what to do, how to do, what your approach there is. I don't know, Terry, you want to hit and hit on internal linking?
Yeah, for sure. And I haven't read Steve's note yet. It is sitting in my inbox. But I'm of the belief that it is the number one ranking factor currently, flat out.
Mm,
And we've proven this on a number of different variables. But the old way of internal linking is where I think that you need to look at and fix this stuff. So I tell this story that of course our agencies, we don't pay much attention to our own website. You know, matter of fact, it's freaking. I hate to bring it up with Randy, but Randy got hammered for his
oh man.
by a guest at the lead rank master event. But anyways, but to go back and pay attention to how you're internally linking. I think silos nowadays are so important because of just Google trying to figure out how to get through everything. So if you make it easier for Google, Yahoo, Bing, all these different bots to get around your website quickly and efficiently, just like we talked about, then
Yep.
you're going to get a much better result that way. And one of the things that I see people continue to do, like people say, okay, what's one piece of advice I could give on internal linking? Quit linking back to your homepage and your content. There's no reason for it. So if you're in your content and you're talking about water heaters and stuff, and you link over to, maybe a water heater repair page or, water heater replacement or something, keeping it within the same silo, then why would you take a water heater anchor and point it back to your homepage? So Google's already been to your homepage.
Right.
Don't send them back to your homepage. So, and I see it constantly. Somebody had to teach this. So
Yeah, I always wonder about that as well, because theoretically, your homepage is your strongest page
Totally.
and has the most link juice. So you really don't need to like send stuff back internally back to the homepage because it's already getting a ton of juice.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing is just, I tell people the homepage doesn't need any help.
Yeah.
So
It shouldn't. If you've done it
yeah.
right, it shouldn't.
Yeah, especially if you built the foundational links right. That's totally,
Right.
Where it's at. But
Yep.
it's just it's just crazy how, but again, you really have to think about link building internally on your site. Don't do auto linking. Please don't do auto linking, because auto linking can over optimize yourself very quickly. But pay attention to it. Steve's a super smart guy. He's been in the game a long time, and Matt Diggity, all these people talk about internal linking now and the importance of it. So, but yeah, just organize your website, make sure you can send the bots where you want them efficiently, and go for it. So, but yeah, I started to tell the story, sorry, but we were in San Diego and, on our quote unquote working vacations. And I looked at Salterra's site. Oh my gosh. It's one of those times where you're like, freaking, really? You're an SEO? Go back and look at your pages from like 6, 7, 8 years ago when you have 300 words of content and 10 internal links going off your 300 words. It's just like, oh my gosh, it was an eye-awakening experience. So.
Yeah. I have a question for you in regards to, so especially like a piece of content. I don't know, do you have like a rule of thumb? I mean, just as a guideline, right? So not necessarily like hard and true. Maybe it is hard and true for you, but so if you have a piece of content, how many links, external, internal breakup, would a typical, and we'll just say throw out, 1,000 words piece of content. Where do you kind of guide, I guess, in something like that?
Well, Salterra in our SOP, it's 3 links per 1,000 words. So, and typically it'll go to a link if it's a blog post, it'll go to a link to the money page and then a link to another topical relevant blog. And then we typically, on the external links, I like to link out to maps. I like to do different anchors to link out to my GMB, or maybe even a review, something that way. I don't do much external linking back to like Wikipedia, what people used to call authority sites. I haven't done that in a long time. Mainly just because when you start tracking links that break, those are always the freaking links that break. So we just don't do that anymore. But that's the biggest thing is we 3 links per 1,000, but we also have an author box, and that author box is a branded box, obviously. So, we'll put, 1 or 2 links in there, going to typically a GBP or the author page. We're doing author pages a lot. And so that seems to be working good. But yeah, it's the whole idea is just to make sure that you're, keeping Google where you want to keep Google, in my mind. So,
right.
And that's the biggest thing. And we do see, like I said, that's the quickest way we see results is just going back and look at your internal links on your website, start cleaning them up, pay attention to the broken ones. The broken ones are killers. If you've got links going to 404s, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. So,
and it also brings up when you're getting a new website built, like what had been done to the site prior through whatever SEO people that they've had in the past. and what is the structure going forward. So,
and you also have to, because I'm also a big believer in pruning pages, old pages that
Right.
maybe are still relevant, but they're just date wise, they're kind of probably being ignored.
Yeah.
And when you do those pages, you also have to look at where were those pages linked inside, because now you're getting ready to delete and redirect. Then you're still going to have a 301 anchor, but still it's all a process. But our staff loves it. It's the first of the month, or the first month we take on a client. That's pretty much all we're doing is paying attention to what the current state of the content is.
Digging in. Yeah.
Digging in. Yeah.
All right. Here's a friend of
frickin' Clint. Who the frick?
Mr. Clint. Yeah, man. I got Clint coming on here commenting. And by the way, I got Clint. First time. I can't believe I was looking through my list like, hey, who should we pull into the show? I've never had Clint on the show. I was like,
so you need to get Clint on your show.
Yeah, I got Clint scheduled April 1st. So kind of pre-sell. Clint, April 1st. And Clint says,
if he shows if it's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, I know. Clint, come on now. Don't leave me hanging out there. SIA Test, Kyle, showed how to improve ranking of the homepage for local businesses where Google preferred ranking the homepage over location pages. Yes. That is pretty solid. Yeah. What about you, Terry? You guys agree with that?
I mean, my big thing with the homepage is to get people off the homepage. I don't believe the homepage can handle all the rankings for the entire site. So I do like location pages, neighborhood pages, people call them, gateway pages, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I've always tried to just make sure my homepage is branded keywords, stuff like that, but all around the brand. But again, it's just, it depends on how the website's built. A lot of people, they do try to rank their homepage for certain terms, and then they find out that, okay, that homepage is ranking, so where are your insight pages ranking?
Right.
Not typically. So, but yeah, no, I do agree, because I was involved with that, not really that test, but I was involved with SIA back then. So, yeah, I mean, there is some good things. I think on a more blanket statement is not every single blog needs a link back to the homepage. And if you do link back to the homepage, it should be a branded keyword link or anchor, in my opinion. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of tests. Also, this test was done a long time ago. So, I think, like I said, I think AI has changed this internal linking content game forever. So you really have to organize, because we don't get much crawl budget. I wish we had a way to say, hey, how much crawl do we get? Do I get 2 seconds? Do I get half a second? Whatever. But, my idea is if your sitemap is set, and if they read the sitemap, but if your sitemap is set to last modify, and you did 6 blogs about a topic, then hopefully your internal linking will at least get those 6 new blogs crawled. But yeah, it's test it, play with it. But we're seeing huge results on going back to old content and making sure the internal linking is more topically siloed than just links everywhere.
Yeah, I will tell you the thing. I do a lot of consult calls with folks that are looking for strategies with press releases and such, and or how do I rank our site? One of the very first things I always do is I pull up their homepage, and then I just take a quick look at like, okay, what does the on page look like, and then do they have schema, and then depending upon, one of the first things they will like. This is you got to kind of address this a little bit first before you start marching down the road of doing other things. But internal, but that internal site structure, internal linking is absolutely critical. I love Levy Lee. I popped him up and I left him up there. He says good morning, like, hey, good morning, Levy. I appreciate it. But I've never seen it. I think it's like brilliant. I'm like, I don't know why I don't do this. It's like hashtag my agency when I'm leaving a comment. I'm like, yeah, smart, dude. I love it. I got nothing wrong with that, man. Make it happen. always be out there promoting. But Levy does have a question for Terry. Does each service page need its own unique schema, or can I use a local business schema and there that into the header, leave that into the header? What are your thoughts, Terry?
Yeah, service pages need their own schema, own individual schema. Local business should only be on local pages, unless you have an exact match domain. Then obviously the whole site's local. But yeah, and it's it just gives you more area of stuff to install on that page. So if you have like the way we whether you stack or nest or whatever your schema, doesn't matter. But like for us, we'll have a site wide, and then we'll have a service, and then we'll have a local business. So the local business replaces the site wide because it's the same information, just more localized. Right. So like for my Phoenix web design page, I'll have the local business Phoenix, and then I'll have the web design service. So, but yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Terry's answer is always schema on top of schema on top of schema. There is no such thing as too much.
Yes.
It's some of the tests we're running right now are nuts, and so it's pretty crazy. But yeah, definitely on your service pages are super important to make sure that each service has its own schema. So and check and see which schema type. So if you're in the construction. If you have a construction site and you do plumbing, HVAC, all these different variables that we're starting to see a lot of now, then each one of those has its own type. So you put the plumber schema on the plumber service pages. You put the HVAC schema on the HVAC.
And
pages.
What happens if you accidentally mix them up?
Yeah, if you accidentally mix them up, you're effed.
You got a problem.
You got a problem, and it was it wasn't a test. It was an oops. I had my main SEO page crashed, and I literally thought I was under attack. I was contacting Clint and Ted and Lee and all these people going, "What the hell, man? I'm under attack." And anybody find it? We come to find out that the web design schema was on my SEO page. And Google did not like that at freaking all.
That was one of those like unintentional tests that you're like, well, I know what the result is now.
I know what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. So and we've seen we've seen not issues, but like if you even have the wrong information inside the right schema. I mean, I've had people send me schema to look at, and it's actually my schema they stole and didn't remove my brand. I can see it. So just make sure the stuff is accurate, because Google reads it. I mean, hands down, we know Google reads schema. It's their language. It's the only language that they came up with themselves. So just make sure the content in there is accurate. And again, don't fluff. I still see that all the time. Google knows it. Google's going to see it. Google's going to not really punish you, but they'll ignore you, so to speak. But I think it's more important nowadays than ever, because I think Google's having a bandwidth crawling website problem like we've never seen before.
Well, because there's so much new content because of AI.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and that's why I think that schema is probably even more critical now than what it's ever been.
Exactly right.
Because crawl budget is so much shorter, because there's so much more content out on the web now, that man, and when those bots hit, you got to like, all right, I got my schema dialed in, because that's what it's going to hit first.
Yeah. And we're doing, I've been testing and paying attention a lot. Everybody needs to start paying attention to the output of AI in search. So and it's typically about questions. So if you ask a question, what's the difference between a tankless hot water heater and a traditional hot water heater? And AI is going to come up with a result. And we're finding out those results. And it's different between Google and Bing. Obviously, Bing has ChatGPT. Google has their freaking nightmare system they're trying to figure out, which is stupid. But pay attention to where those results are coming from, because they're typically pulling them from 3 sites, combining them into one result. Go look at these sites, find out the sentence that they're pulling from, where in the page that's located at, and see if we can manipulate it with schema. So, we're doing pretty good with Bing and manipulating the ChatGPT results. I think Google's still far behind the game as far as their results. So, it's constantly changing. But I do think people need to really start paying attention to but to really start paying attention to what's going on as far as the results that AI is pulling from.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's cooler than to show your client that now they're now in the AI result. They're not just an organic; they're now in the AI result. They're one of
Yeah.
the 3 sites.
Yeah.
So,
I think I got to do a show just on AI search. I would love, just to like take a whole show and like let's just talk about AI search and how do you do it. And I love, like when I'm talking about that, I'm meaning like whether I'm searching in ChatGPT or I'm searching. I love Perplexity. I think that is a really great platform to kind of do research and pull information from. It's probably the first platform I've been finding even more recently. When I need to search for something, I tend to go to Perplexity first. And then if it's not a local business, but even in local business now is kind of interesting. But if I need a local, I may still go to Google. But if I'm just doing a search, like asking a question, doing a how to, why do I, that kind of thing, an interrogative, I find myself going out to Perplexity first. I love the output of that. I love the information.
yeah, and I think that's also important to keep an eye on. Obviously, Google and Bing are still going to be, Google's losing market share every month. But I just think, yeah, you need to pay attention to Perplexity. I just think that if you're not in the game of AI and at least working in it on a daily basis, you need to be.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many different things. One of the at spring training this year, our breakout rooms, 2 of them are going to be, one of them's going to be AI, one of them's going to be automation. Because I also believe if you're not automating,
Yeah.
then you are also falling behind. And there's some simple things that we all do that can be automated.
Yep.
Onboarding,
Yep.
proposals, all these different things that we can automate to make our lives easier. But yeah, it's super important. It can be tied in with SEO. We use it on a daily basis. We have no problem with AI content that's gone through Grammarly. We don't auto populate content. We probably never will.
Right.
So, but the content that we're producing now, because we've personalized ChatGPT, I've talked about this and taught about this, then our clients just love it. Now they're getting creative, so one of our big med spas is adding on a brand new service and we're building out this whole thing with AI, all the content, all the freaking, all the stuff to get it right, to get it ready. And that's gold,
Yeah.
I mean, it would have cost us $1,000 in content 2 years ago.
I will tell you, you talk about doing auto-populating AI content. Now I'm not, I'll just throw this out as this was, one experience. I'm not sure I certainly wouldn't do it with a client side. But Robbie Rizek has got a platform, a SaaS called Blogstorm.
Mm-hmm.
And within that platform, you can do some auto-populating of content, throw it right out onto your website. And I have used it a couple of times for a couple of my lead gen sites that I wanted, some good local content for. And so putting the service and then matching it with the kind of a neighborhood, so to speak, around where the lead gen is. And man, I'm not kidding you. I think I put out like 30 pages or something just as I'm going to try this out on a couple of these sites. It cooked, man. I'm telling you, it was on it. I was really pleased. So I don't know, folks. You can go check out Blogstorm. Robbie's got a great little platform there, and he can help you if you have any questions on it. But from a local lead gen, where I'm trying to I'm playing around a lot of time. I don't know. This is probably why I don't make a ton of money off of my lead gen sites, because I kind of use them as experimental. Hey, let's try this on this one. But that's what I did on on 2 sites we did. I'm like, wow, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and you can my favorite thing about using things like chat and stuff, and chat's still my favorite, but it's just the different ideas and stuff that you don't think of that it gives you.
Right.
It's amazing. I'll throw in hey, here's my top 3 keywords for this page. What else should I be looking at as far as conversions and all this stuff?
Right,
And,
right, right.
it's just like, 80, 90% of it, it makes sense. But the other 10% are like, wow, I never freaking thought of that.
Right, right. Well, that was one of the nice things about Robbie's platform, the Blogstorm, is because it utilizes people always ask,
Mhm.
also ask,
Yeah,
and it builds content around those pieces. And I was like, oh, that's very clever. That was good.
exactly.
All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about something that we both, all three of us, love: SEO spring training. It's around the corner.
Yep, it's about 6 weeks out, looks like. So, I'm trying not to pay attention to the time. I'm just, it's getting close. That's all I say.
Yeah.
So,
Are we getting nervous? Are we feeling a little more like, oh my gosh, 6 weeks away?
and yeah, I mean, this is the nervous time for people that put on events. Obviously these aren't cheap. So, and this year, we really spent a lot of time, Elizabeth did, on the hotel side of it.
Mm,
We've always chosen great hotels for networking. That's always been kind of like what we're known for. But this year it was about price. Last year, I think our rooms were like up in the 350, 380 way per night. And now Elizabeth's got these things down to 175 bucks a night. So that's pretty crazy coming to Phoenix and getting a room for under 200 bucks a night. And
yeah.
so, and I'm super proud of her for looking at that, because these events aren't just the ticket price. It's the whole package. It's the flight, it's the hotels, so we definitely pay attention to that, because we not only do we guarantee that we're going to have value at this thing, but we also make sure that it's going to be at least affordable in the other spaces.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
I've shared, I probably every other week I talk about conferences and SEO spring training and how I just, it is one of the conferences that I just like, well, of course I'm going to be there every year. And I just look forward to every time when it's coming around the corner. As always, got it. And as always, you've got a great lineup of folks. Obviously, the two of you, Clint, helps you host. And this year, I'll tell you, I was not familiar a whole lot with Chris until Rank Masters, but man, I'm so excited. I think you've got Chris emceeing. Is that
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Chris is emceeing, and he's going to be teaching quite a few things along the way.
Yeah.
He is
And
he's probably, out of all the people that I've met in this business, he's probably the most impressive with just the way just this thought process is just
uh,
like,
this man is, I mean, I would spend, some good money just to spend like, a couple of days with him, just isolated, like dial me in, dude. Yeah, incredibly smart, has such a natural, I really think, gifted ability to communicate and provide information. It's just wow. I would just tell you, aside from these three here, of course, but I would come just to listen to Chris if he's teaching and doing stuff. So I think that it was a great snag, man. I'll tell you, that was a nice job. Well, you got a bunch of other,
he actually came up to us and asked us if,
really.
I think,
Oh man,
dude, frick
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
And then you're bringing some boys over from across the pond here,
mhm.
James Dooley and Craig Campbell. So I know Craig he was there what,
We
2
got to
years?
get a better picture of Craig. He
I
looks,
know, I know. I told him that the other day. I'm like, Craig, man, there's a picture of you because Craig now I think he's lost like 50 or 60 pounds. He looks great.
yeah.
Yeah, and James Dooley is
Well, Craig, we're going to have an affiliate panel on the second day. It's going to be Craig, James, and Carl Hudson. Um,
mm,
Probably the 3 biggest affiliate people in the
yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, and I wanted to do this because I'm a big believer that as long as somebody has something to sell and they'll give you a piece of it to sell, affiliate will never die.
Yeah.
So, look at branching out. If you're in local and you want to go out and play other places, look at affiliate. Look at making your own money instead of making money for your clients.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Agreed.
but yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be affiliate. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I think is Jason. I don't know where Jason is. Is he in the UK? Is he a US based
No,
guy?
he's in the U.S. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the U.S. I think he's got. Well, he's got places everywhere. I know he's got a big Hennessy Studios in L.A. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's I
All
think
right.
his 20+ million agency.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, big
So,
dollars. Yeah, yeah. And I know I've known Barry Page. I think even when I first even got into the industry, I met Barry, and he and I have worked together. He's over the years, and so it's great to actually have Barry come over to the States, which will be a lot of fun to hang out with him. There's
yeah,
Carl. We got some of the and Nathan Gotch. This is going to be kind of exciting. I've not heard Nathan speak directly, so
this is his first time he's ever spoke on stage.
Wow, really? Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's why I haven't seen him anywhere. Yeah, I'm excited to hear him.
Yeah.
Man, how did you nail him? That is awesome.
I mean, it's Nathan and I have known each other, obviously Facebook friends forever. And I know he does a lot of stuff with his academy, which
Right.
I also do a lot of stuff with my university, so we have a lot of synergies together. But yeah, he's gosh, I'm so looking forward to him. He does.
Yeah.
He's one of the people that we he tests. He's a tester.
Yeah,
Anytime
yeah.
that you have a tester, then you can do great things. So
Yeah, yeah. And a couple of other people that I'm not I've heard of their names, so I'm familiar with them, but I've not seen much from them in the sense, and certainly not in a presentation, both Julia and Brad. So I'm excited to have those guys.
yeah, well, Julia is the AI queen in my
Yeah,
opinion. So
man, that's going to be exciting. And then Corey Hubble is coming across. You got Chris is going to be back, which is going to be great for legit fame. And then Patrick Shannon, yeah, again, can't speak highly enough. And I think did Patrick speak last year?
yeah, Patrick spoke
Yeah.
last year.
Okay, because I think I first met him at SEO Spring Training. And this is one of the things, and I tell you folks, when you start talking about and thinking about going to conferences and stuff, this is what I always think is probably one of the most valuable. Certainly you learn and you walk away with like, wow, this is a great learning experience. But the network and the people that you meet, I don't know that you can actually place a dollar value on that at all, because you may meet somebody, at that thing, and then a year, 2 years later, all of a sudden you're like connected and you're doing things with them and you're building stuff. And yeah, the value of meeting new people and kind of engaging with them and taking that friendship down the road is it's such a valuable experience at these conferences.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, my man Travis, love him. Brian, good to see these guys. Cindy Lauren, tell me about Cindy.
Elisabeth.
I'm going to jump in on this one. So.
All right, good. Yeah.
Cindy Lauren is an amazing, amazing business coach. And I've been doing some work with her, obviously, for our agency. And I just absolutely love her thought process and how she approaches coaching. I'm not going to give away like too many little secrets. She has her own structure and philosophy, but she is super brilliant and she is data based. And I just think that is such a great fit for our community, because she won't recommend anything unless the numbers reflect. And it's all about where you are, what you're doing, how you're doing it, structuring your time so you're greater efficient. She's going to talk. Not everyone wants to scale an agency, right? And I've got friends that are like, I just want to do my thing. I want to stay in my lane. I'm okay being a single entrepreneur. I don't need a staff of 10, 20. I don't need that headache. But she has some really great actionable steps that you can take to be more efficient and systematized yourself, so you don't have to necessarily hire on a staff. So she's worked with like major companies, Boeing, big dogs. She's got her PhD. She taught at Cal Poly for like 20 years. So she really brings a lot to the table, and
Wow.
in her space, she is very highly esteemed. So I was really excited that she is willing to come and meet with our peep. But like I said, because she's so data driven and data focused, all of us nerds are going to eat it up.
Yes, absolutely. And I love, so Blair, I don't know, Blair and I go back a ways, great client, Blair from, I think, what is it? North Coast Marketing, something like that. I think his company is. So hopefully, Blair, I'm excited. Hopefully you're going to spring training. It'll be good.
And then Uncle Ted's going to open us up this year.
Uncle Ted. I love it. You guys have done such a great job, I think, of blending like some of the very popular and familiar and people that have been around, like Ted, right? And then bringing in some new, folks to come on stage and share some of the stuff. I think that's important. To be
It's
able to
super
do it.
important because, and one of the things that kind of brings up is I'm kind of looking at a rebranding a little bit, because our community, our SEO community, our data driven people are like, it's a relatively small community. And there's a lot of people that do digital marketing that don't label themselves SEO. So I didn't really want to be trapped in, even though like we named it SEO Spring Training, not looking to the future that people will be like, oh, well, I don't do SEO. I'm a media buyer. I do social media marketing. I do blah, 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 blah. So I really wanted to open it up. So it is all digital marketing strategies. It's not just SEO or on page or schema. Don't tell Terry.
No, I agree.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Well, and you've got a few other folks certainly as well. Monique is going to be on the show in a couple of weeks, so kind of excited to have her on. I've not had her on this show before, so I'm excited that she's going to be. I can't remember. I'm looking right before spring training, actually, so she'll be on in April. Same with Dixon Jones, so it'll be kind of fun to have him. Tristan Goodwin, I haven't. I don't know that I've heard Tristan.
Oh man, he's an AI. Just gosh, he's so
Another
He's
AI guru.
Holly's Dark AI a couple of times, and man, I kind of fangirled over him because he's wicked smart, of course. But
yeah, Marie's coming back. We're so excited to have Marie back. She spoke at the very first spring training.
Yeah.
So Marie's, then of course, Andrew. Got to have Andrew come back because he was such a big hit last year.
And Mads, so very nice.
And then of course the only one that's not on there is James Slattery. So he's going to be, we're going to put his stuff back up on stage, and
he'll be there in memorial. So
he's actually I decided last night he's going to close the event.
Oh, good. All right, nice. Oh, that's going to be nice. All right, so I'm going to put this up in the chat. I don't know, Terry, you got anything to share maybe in regards
Terry
to...
might have a ticket.
Terry, might have a ticket. You got maybe a little coupon, brother?
Yeah, Terry 25. Use Terry 25. I'm going to give you $400 off any ticket. VIP is almost sold out. We're actually getting together after this call to count, but we're pretty close on the VIP. So if you want to come and see the VIP, Marty Marion's going to do a breakout workout session in the VIP day. And then, of course, we're going to bring on, Garen and James's PowerPoint presentation from Rockstars. Nice. Wasn't able to go. But yeah, these, it's going to be a great event. We've really stacked this thing good. The breakout rooms, again, Elisabeth and I are going to do a video today. We keep meaning to. But our conference isn't to where you just sit in one big room for 8 hours for 3 days. Yeah. So what we do is we have morning stage time, and then we have afternoon breakouts. So the afternoon breakout rooms, you can, like as Elisabeth says, choose your own adventure. If you want to go into learn more about AI, if you want to go learn more about automation, if you want to learn more about SEO in general, or if you want to go into agency growth. So we have 4 rooms, and it's broke out where each person has like 40 minutes, and it's it's built to be more intimate. So it's built to be more, use a whiteboard, do a Q&A, have people ask questions. I mean, it's really, they're designed to say, hey, look, the whole idea of all this stuff is to just, what do you want to learn? Where do you want to go into? What do you want to spend time in? If you want to see one speaker one time, the next speaker the next day, it's set up that way. So last year was the first year we did it, and it was a huge hit. People just loved having the afternoons to, not just move around and go to different places and different rooms. You can even go networking, talk to somebody for a while in the afternoon, but I think it's really, really important to have a system to where, by the end of the day or on the third day, you just haven't felt like you had a fire hose just squirted at you.
Well, I loved it because especially, sometimes you're like, wow, I really want to learn this stuff. And so and I know you're going to have an automation track. I'm like, man, I just want to dig into that because I know like Dan Kurtz is like so big and so successful with automation. And I'm like, yes, I want to learn more. So I think that was one of the things I really appreciated about the track. So I could just really focus and dig deeper a bit on one particular topic. I loved it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, but yeah, please get your tickets. Again, if you want to help donate to the Slattery family, the Slattery 25 coupon code will, initiate that $400 donation per ticket to his family. I know Garen Green's working up some stuff to be able to, so people can donate money to his family and stuff. But it's so important for us to spread the value and just include getting our family bigger. I mean, it's, this is our family thing. This is something that we really, really, really look forward to. And we spend a lot of time to make sure it's as perfect as it can be.
Yep.
So we are not going to live stream this year.
Last
year was a freaking nightmare live streaming. So we are not going to live stream. So, and it's, if you can get here, great, come, I hope you can. If you can't make it this year, next year we do these every year. But, I'm really excited about this year just because the AI and the automation and the things that I think people need to be moving towards. Whether you're a one-man show or an agency owner, come and see how your one-man show can be a five-man show because of automation.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, without even hiring on staff. You just automate everything, buy back your time.
Yes, exactly. Well, I'm super excited. Coming up here in a few short weeks, about 6 weeks or so. Yeah. First week of May 1st through the 4th, I believe.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So there's the link to the site. Use coupon code Terry25 and save yourself $400. Thank you, Terry. And Elizabeth, thank you very much. Hey, listen, folks, I appreciate you being on the show today. Terry, I'm glad you were there in voice, even though we didn't get to see your lovely face. But
I know I'm sitting there going, dang it. I'm going
to
work on my camera today.
But you offered the prettiest face of the team, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, she's the most important one anyways. So, yeah.
And I love her for saying that all the time.
People get to see me enough. So.
Yes. And folks, next week on the show, I've got Pete Kleingen. So I think you guys know Pete. He's been at a couple of different conferences. We were at Rockstars in November. I'm like, hey, Pete, how would you like to come on the show? And so I got him squirreled in for next week. So it'll be fun to have him on.
He's wicked smart, and it's very unassuming because he's such a nice guy.
Yes, another wicked smart. And I love him because he's in South Dakota. I did my undergrad, my initial college in South Dakota. And look, and there's Petey right there in the place where I went to college. So I'm kind of excited to talk a little bit of old school South Dakota kind of stuff with him as well. But Pete has got something that I'm dying. I want him to share. And so, Pete, I'm glad you're even on the show listening right now. he has got a process I thought was brilliant on what he shares with client in tracking results, and a different approach that I think is I thought was brilliant, and I'm going to get him to share that on the show next week. So tune in for that. Terry, Elisabeth, love you. Thanks for being on the show, man. You are.
Thank you for having us as always. So
Yeah.
one of the best shows out there. Pay attention to
I
Randy.
appreciate it, buddy. I appreciate it. All right, folks, and catch us next week. And of course, always like, subscribe, follow, and